We open on the thing that kids love to see the most in action cartoons, a convoy. Duke calls over to the newest bland white guy on the team, Flint, who offers this clever bit of wordplay.
Remember, a cobra's a snake, and snake is sneak spelled sideways.
Should somebody tell him that that's not exactly how English works? Nah, never mind. Anyway, Cobra Commander and Major Blood strap on their rocket hang gliders and lead a bunch of guys on an assault. Then it's all red lasers and blue lasers and parachutes, the usual. I don't see anyone parachuting out of those tanks, though. I'm pretty sure those drivers are suffering horrible fiery deaths. During the fighting, we meet some new Cobras called Scrap Iron and Firefly. Each of them does about 5 seconds worth of stuff, so now I should be intimately familiar with their backstories and motivations. That tends to be how fans of the show react anyway. How can you not know who Lady J was, they'll say. She threw a rocket javelin at that one guy and they never said her name, but you should just know it somehow. Yeah, it may shock you to learn that I don't do a ton of research here. All I have is what they give me on the screen. The Cobra forces begin to nab the laser core, which is vital to whatever particular plot is going on right now, and Duke jetpacks in and kicks some guys while making some terrible, terrible jokes.
I don't enjoy your company, but you sure get a kick out of me.
Ugh, can they kidnap him again? Wait, they can? I was kidding. That plot was boring last time, and oh, they're bringing Snake Eyes along this time, so at least they'll have someone to talk at. Also, the Joes capture Cobra Commander. Also, we meet Roadblock, whose name I do know because he's kind of awesome.
Duke and Snake Eyes, just you wait. We're gonna chop Cobra up for bait.
Meanwhile, an important general is hanging out in the swamp, like important generals do, and he has a hovercraft fight with some punk rockers. Ugh, this old cliche. Oh, excuse the hell out of me, he's only a colonel. He and his aide are thrown into a cage and introduced to the leader of this ragtag band of mercenaries, and his name is Zartan, which, well, I'm a grown man who calls himself AAlgar, so I can hardly throw stones here.
Welcome to my domain, Colonel Sharp. While G.I. Joe and Cobra battle for the land, I, Zartan, rule the swamp.
And you're proud of this, are you? Being ruler of the swamp? Okay, then. Zartan is a master of disguise. I remember this from when I was a kid because his skin turned blue when you put him in water. Or maybe it was light. Anyway, blue skin. That's how you know he's good at disguises. Meanwhile, the Cobra dudes return to their giant temple that was buried in the desert, which means they've built themselves an entirely new ridiculous hideout since our last story. Oh, and there's old shirtless D, that's Destro to you and me, showing off his latest invention, the Weather Dominator. Back at Joe HQ, Colonel Zartan and some bitchy old bureaucrat lady who reveals herself to be, the Baroness, work on busting out Cobra Commander. They keep calling him the Cobra Commander, but that's just weird to me, like when people say the Batman. Oh, and the escape plan involves poison gas dispensed from snakes, because of course it does. Out in the swamp, a bunch of Joes just happen to be passing by where the colonel and his aide were caged and left for dead. Man, for the ruler of the swamp, Zartan doesn't run a very tight ship, does he? He does manage to escape with Cobra Commander, though.
Sunlight. I hate sunlight. It robs me of my camouflage ability.
Oh, so it is sunlight. I guess water wouldn't have made a lot of sense given that he lives in the swamp. Because sense is one thing this show makes. Meanwhile, Destro's weather machine fucks up a bunch of Joes in jets. Cobra Commander makes it back home, switches from his formal metal mask to his casual cloth one, and pulls the old "Citizens of the World" TV address trick. Never mind that fiasco with the mask device, he says. This time we have a Weather Dominator, so do what we say. Those guys who crashed their jets, Flint, Roadblock, and the rest, apparently crashed into something called the Pit of Chaos. I know this because Destro says it about 40 times, and they're attacked by some vines of evil, which is actually the title of the next episode, so spoilers, I guess.